Alright guys, welcome back today. As I did a little while ago, I did the front brakes and rotors. As you can see, they're still nice and shiny. And while I was doing that job, I ran into a couple snags. Found out that my right caliper almost didn't squish in all the way to receive the new brake pads and rotors. And when I was putting the wheels back on, this is the left side, the wheel was shaking a little bit, so I got a bad hub bearing. So I wanted to show you guys a video on how to do that in case you ain't done one of those before either. And I've already taken the wheel off, of course, you can see that. And I did take the caliper bolts out. They're a 3/8 Allen bolt, and I just took them out real quick to get this thing done a little faster. But it may not go as quickly for everybody. But this truck is from the south, and I've been keeping it clean. And most of the parts have all come off okay. You know, the hub bearings, the right one was new last year when I put the lift kit on. And I just actually fixed this ABS wire in here like a month ago because it broke. And then I found out the bearing is bad, so it didn't really matter if I fixed it or not. But anyways, let's get started on the hub bearing replacement. First, you take your caliper bolts, loosen your sliders up, and just set this. I usually just set them right here on top, out of your way, and hope that they don't fall on your head later. And you slide your rotor off like that. That's kind of hot because I just drove home from work. Now these older 98 and older, the hub bolts just come right through these little holes drilled in the faceplate of the bearing itself. They're nice. The newer trucks and cars, they all go in from behind, and it's really hard to get to them sometimes. But so far, GM, before they got to the newer cars, were kind of smart about a few things. And I believe those sockets is a 15mm socket, if I remember right. And it is. You see that just slides right through the hole. Real nice. And you don't really need to use power, but it's faster, and I don't want to have a 30-40 minute video on this. So we're just gonna take them out, and they just slide on through the hole once they get out of this backing plate. There are 3 on here. Some cars have 4, some have 3. That was better. That's just the shield for the ABS sensor. Missed that one. Well, there we go. Well, now the bolt's stuck in the socket. All right. Then you got to take the big 35mm axle nut off, which I just happened to buy a brand new socket set for those, and I'm going to use it today. Should be 35mm. Fits in there perfect. You will need power for this if you want to go faster, but you can do it by hand. It's just really hard. And that was one of the other things that was new on this when I did the lift, is the drive shafts are both shot. And I ended up needing new drive shafts anyways. So for a while, you got to modify the exhaust on these things to receive the, to let the 4-wheel drive shaft line back up once you drop them. So for the rest of the summer, I didn't have 4-wheel drive, and what I did is the old shafts, I took the knuckle or the CV joint apart and cleaned it up and just had the tail shaft and the nut to hold the bearing, because if you don't hold the bearing together, it will fly apart on you. Now my clip here for the ABS wire right here, I already had off the other day, or about a month ago when I repaired the wire harness. but it just hoops into a couple of these clips on the control arm and release the plug here. And there's one bolt. I pull it out of the frame, and I don't have pliers here to save my life, so we'll just take a ratchet. Take the small ratchet under here, anything to pry it up out of the frame, because there's one of those little plastic push things on the back of that, and it's gonna fight me. All I wanted was a simple install video. There we go. There's a little push pin thing here, and it comes on the new one. And then there's one bolt over here that holds it to the frame, which is not a 12 millimeter. It's a 13 millimeter. Let me see if I can find an extension for that to make it a little easier for me. Yep. And I'm telling you what, if you guys live up here in the north and you want to find yourself a nice truck, you got to go down south. I mean, it doesn't beat it. Because most of the trucks and cars up here, you're doing a hub bearing, you're smacking the crap out of it, trying to get it out. And it's all seized against the hub, and everything is all together. But, boom. No hitting, no hammering, no air chisel. It just slid right off. And the first time I changed it 2 years ago, it surprised the crap out of me and slid right off. And we'll put the little bearing over there, since that has to go back to the store as a core, because I got warranties on them and they're going to honor them, which is nice because that's $160 I didn't really have and I didn't really want to spend. We get the nice shiny new one here out of the plastic. Boy, they package that box really well with paper. Put that in the box so it don't blow away. It's a little breezy here. And then you just unwrap your ABS wire like that. Tell it not to hook on your shirt. And I knew that was going to happen because I moved it so I could show you all how to get the ABS wire out. So all you got to do after that is line the surface bolt or the faceplate bolt holes up with each of the bolt holes, and then just put your bolts back in. Now I am still using my cordless impact, and it's a nice Mac one, 1200 foot-pounds of torque on a full charge, which it does not have a full charge today. So I'm going to use it to tighten these down because it doesn't have a full charge. It's not going to break them because that thing is like awesome. Awesomest gun I ever got. It's like best $500 you can invest in. You know, if it doesn't take the bolt off, it will snap it. I've snapped lug nuts off on accident. So I got my faceplate or my cover plate on. Got these all started. Yep, one battery bar. That's not going to break any bolts. And I'm not giving them a lot of torque either. We're not getting them full-on Dwayne torque recommendations like I did them frame bolts I did the other day. That should be good. Give me back my socket now. And there you go. That's the bearing install. And I'm not going to say, well, everybody's going to have that kind of luck, because you don't. I've been living up in the north all my life, and northern cars, you do not come apart this easy. And I probably should have used some anti-seize on it, and I might later. Why are you stopping? Yeah, that should be tight enough. That's Dwayne torque level there, even with a low battery. When I go to put the wheels on, I'll probably change the battery and put the wheels on with a nice new battery, because I don't like my wheels falling off. Had that happen before. Wasn't fun. Now, as you can see, this isn't exactly the way it was, because I had to move this bracket down on the wire more, because when I lifted it, it was, it would have been too close to the tire, I guess. And I might just reuse that if I can get this old new one off here. Trusty pair of pliers, just like that, so I don't have to, because that's bolted right to the ball joint, and I don't really feel like taking out the ball joint bolt, even if it is just one. And you don't need the retainer. And that's why that's why I had to move it, because same with this one here. It's not working the way it should, so you loosen them up and you can move them just about anywhere. And I believe I had that one like that, which means I have to flatten this little end piece. Flatten the little end piece out. If you have a lifted truck, you might have to do that. So, plug in the harness here. It just clicks on there. And you shove the tip back in there. What a time to mow the yard. Thank you, neighbor. Love my neighbors, I really do. They can be awesome sometimes. Nothing like a little sarcasm to end the day with. So with me, because I had to do that, it puts it at a different angle. When you do the lift, the ABS wire has to be rerouted to avoid getting caught in your tire, which is understandable. So I'm going to put this bracket the same way I had it, because you can see it the way it was sitting on the frame, the way I changed it. Left another nice imprint. And then you just, there we go. You can just crimp that back together there so it doesn't move. Slide your cable back down into these holders. It goes in there. Goes into that one, okay. And I'll just crimp this one down. Next time I do a video, I'm gonna have to talk to the neighbors. Say, are you mowing your grass today? Because I'm trying to make a video. But anyways, we'll snug this bolt down. Drop the socket. Try to push. There we go. Everything is lined up now. Everybody's looking happy here. So the line's all happy. It's not restricted or anything. What I've been having a problem with is the wire's been, it goes back and forth every time you turn your wheel, and it wore out the other one, and I just kind of patched it real quick. And just to get the ABS light off. It was the end of winter and I really didn't need the ABS. I didn't need to fix it until the fall, but I hate having lights on my dashboard too. So now that you got your ABS hooked back up, wheel nut or wheel bolts back on, hub nut back on, you're pretty much done. It's just reassembly. Take the rotor, slide your rotor back on, get your caliper happy where it's supposed to go. You wiggle it around until that sliding bolt kicks into the little nub. Usually you can feel it thump in there. Then you just tighten them down. You're not going to take it down, are you? The new calipers are going to come with nice new bolts too, so everything will be greased and it'll be working like brand new. I'm liable to front end the truck onto the ground trying to stop now, but I changed the front brakes the other, a couple days ago, just to, they were locking up in the rear first, and I was afraid of getting flat spots on these nice tires that I have. It cost me a little bit of money, and I wanted to save them, and I changed the brakes. I've been pressing them hard, and the front end stopping without locking up the rear, and I like that. That's a lot nicer. So there you have it. Your caliper's installed, and that's torqued to Dwayne specs there. And that's your install of a front hub bearing for, I guess this would cover, like, from this body style is what, like 89 to 98. This was the last year for this style. I'm not going to cover putting the wheel on and off, because if you've already gotten this far, you know how to do that. So I hope you enjoy this video, and we'll catch you in the next one. Y'all have a good day. Bye now.